Welcome to Second Listen Saturday on the Parenting Roundabout podcast, where we share some fun moments from a past episode for your weekend listening pleasure. Look for new episodes every Monday through Friday.
Today we're talking about some adulting milestones instead of the kid ones that we typically refer to.
Milestones are just annoying no matter who they belong to, but...
Yeah. So this topic comes out of an article. It's in The Independent, and it refers to a study that was done charting when people experience their first sort of significant life milestones, such as learning to swim, flying on a plane, your first kiss. And it gave us an average age of when people were most likely to experience these key life events. So we thought we would have a look at this list and maybe discuss, how it pertains to us. And maybe there's some things on here that should be not there, that aren't necessarily relevant anymore, like ironing.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that was my favorite.
Then, and some things that we could probably add to it. So,
yeah. I'm looking at learn to ride a bike, age 7. I learned to ride a bike in high school just because I needed to do it. I think what it took was my sister having a boyfriend who intimidated me, and he took me out with the bike, and I rode the bike.
Okay. Like, let me get away from this guy.
Exactly. It's like, okay, sure, whatever you say, I'll pedal. When I was a kid, and my parents were probably much more solicitous of my fears, and I just never could get it. So I was well off the curb on that one.
Wow, yeah.
I can't remember. I mean, I had to be 6 or 7 probably, but I don't know at all.
Yeah, and my kids, I think my daughter could ride a bike for a while and then she lost interest. I don't think my son ever learned how to ride a bike without training wheels, and neither of them knows how to swim, so I've been a bad parent allowing them to now completely have so few of these milestones. I'm not sure if they've been on a roller coaster. Gosh, I've deprived them of these formative experiences.
Well, because we've talked about it, that my daughter is very deprived because she hasn't been to a concert.
Oh.
Which I think is on here for like 12 or something.
They have 16. I'm looking at
16.
Oh, 16. Okay. So that's not quite as bad as she thinks it is.
Sure.
Yeah.
She feels extremely
hard done by.
Left behind by this.
Yeah.
But yeah, this made me laugh because it was like, move out of parents' home, 21. Learn how to cook, have a car, and iron clothes, we're all 23. So those 2 years when you're out of your parents' home, you don't have a car, you can't cook, and you can't iron, which, that seems kind of somewhat obsolete at this point, but...
Cross that puppy off the list. Yeah, that's interesting how that panned out. I guess you have to live in a place with,
public transportation.
Public transportation and fast food.
How is hosting a dinner party a milestone?
I feel like that's a very adult thing to do, but that is it's a weird thing to single out, I guess.
Yeah.
Along with mowing your own lawn. Like 26... It says mow own lawn.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's assuming that you have a house.
I don't think I've ever mowed my own lawn.
27. That doesn't really match up.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. That's weird.
Like, are you paying somebody to do it before that? Or you just don't know how? Or you don't have a lawn? We have questions about how all this could work.
And now, host first dinner party. I assume this means that you're, cooking and using the good dishes. Because... having people over for pizza is technically a dinner party.
Right.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, what if you just have friends come over for, drinks and popcorn or something?
Or take out or whatever.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember hosting a dinner party when I was living in New York. So I was, in my 20s. Mm-hmm. And I tried to make garlic mashed potatoes. and I did not roast the garlic first.
Oh,
So
Oh.
you don't want to serve people mashed potatoes with raw garlic.
Oh.
You will find out how much they like you.
I should have waited till I was 27 to figure out how to cook garlic before serving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Good job. Good job.
Well, my kids may not have done the bike thing and the swimming thing, but they are way before the curve on the fly on a plane thing, you know.
Oh, yeah.
My son was on a plane at 18 months flying from Russia to America, and my daughter was 4. They say 14 for the first fly on a plane.
And
I flew on planes
and like
before
not
14.
just any flight. I mean, that was
An international flight.
many hours. on a
But
plane.
then, I mean, every year after that, we flew places. We flew to California to see my mom. We flew to Orlando to go to Disney.
Yeah.
They were flying. They haven't flown that much since age 14. They probably stopped about age 14.
Yeah, my son, I think he was 2 months old when we first took him on a plane to come back to the East Coast and visit family. So
Well, just look at our little jet setters.
I know.
You know, they may not go to concerts.
I know. This is what I try to tell my daughter. She was very
at the
put out
things
that
you've
she
done.
didn't get to go to Greece because the rest of us between last year and this year have gone to Greece. I'm like, yeah, but you went to South America.
Exactly.
Come on.
None of them in there.
Yeah.
Do they have that, like international travel?
International, they should.
It should be
Pass
on
driving
there.
test, age 21. This must be because it's a UK test.
Yeah.
Because do they not get to drive till they're 21 there?
No.
So you move out of your parents' home and you get a drive. Or have they been taking it since they were 16 and they just passed it at age 21?
I don't think they need to drive. Their public transportation
I guess.
system is like New York.
Well, that
It's-
must be it.
But-
So it's like you only learn to drive if you move out to the country or something.
Yeah.
You move out of your parents' house to some remote spot.
I didn't own a car until I married into it. So
Really?
Because
Really?
Because you lived places with public
in New York.
transportation.
I mean, I lived in New York City. Well, first I went to college in a city, and then I lived in New York City, where you definitely don't want a car.
No.
And then I moved to New Jersey and got married, and my husband had a car.
Mhm.
So then,
Huh.
by marriage, I owned a car. I mean, I had my driver's license. I could drive
Yeah.
for all those
I was
years.
so proud of myself. I bought my first car after my first summer after high school.
Wow.
I worked. and
From
then
working in the mines.
When I was working in the mines, I made enough money to buy myself a car and put
Nice.
myself through college. Imagine that.
That is
Wow.
amazing, actually. That is really...
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I drove my parents. I mean, you have to have a car living in LA, but
Oh, yeah.
I drove my parents' cars. I think my first 2 years in college, I didn't have a car with me because you just rode bicycles all around campus at UC Santa Barbara. But
Mhm.
It's a
then,
good thing your sister's boyfriend taught you how to ride a bike.
yes, exactly. That was I rode my bike in high school and college, and I haven't ridden it since. But my second 2 years in college, I had a job, so I needed a car, and I just drove my parents' cars. But then when I moved to Kansas City for my first job, I had to buy a car. But I think I traded in one of my parents, so I don't know. Does it count? That would have been my first car, so that would have been like 21. So I beat the date.
Good for you.
Because then a year later, it blew up, and I moved.
Did you know how to iron clothes at that time, though?
That's probably maybe the only time in my life where I might have learned how to iron clothes. Because, you move away in your first apartment, your parents give you all these things that you'll need, like an iron, and I don't remember if I ever used it. I might have one in my closet now, but no, life is too short. I do not do that.
What's with this learn to garden? Why is that a milestone?
That is odd. I don't know that I could
24.
say I have ever done that.
People learn to garden at 24.
Wow.
Well,
But
even
they
know that
don't
was a
have their
thing.
own house at that point, or do they?
So what are they gardening?
Right. My first house is age 27, so they're
Wow.
gardening in their rental before that.
This doesn't really have any continuity. Like, it doesn't kind of have a timeline of, it's sort of all over
Yes.
the place, right?
Probably from being a survey, so it's not like one person. It's
an aggregation of a lot of stuff.
First road trip with friends, 21.
Oh, I was younger than that. Well, no, wait, maybe I wasn't. I don't know. It depends. I mean, does a school trip count? A trip with friends would be just a bunch of you going someplace. That was probably in my 20s.
We did that. After high school, I did that. Which now, thinking of letting my daughter do that in a year, that is like,
That's so funny. No. This time next year, you'll be like, yeah, go ahead. They change a lot.
If you say so, I don't know.
I do. Trust me.
Yes. Well, you were right about, feeling okay with letting her drive herself places.
And that was a success, her trip last week?
Yes. Speaking of roller coasters, she went to a theme park.
Oh.
And I was watching her on Life 360 the whole way there and back. So
that has made it a lot easier. Or maybe not.
Actually, and that is on this list. Well, go on a roller coaster.
Yes.
I guess you could go in a theme park. Go to a theme park by yourself. We could add that.
Right.
Do they have Mom Stops Tracing Your Every Move on here someplace?
Finally shake off Mom's tracking.
Yes. Get your own phone that Mom can't follow.
Yeah.
Right.
Age that you get, your first cell phone that you bought yourself.
That you actually pay the bills.
Yes. Oh, how about the first time you pay a bill, period?
Oh, yeah. Is that on here?
Nope.
You got your first raise and your first promotion and your first firing, but not your first bill.
No,
first
you
credit
need your
card.
First bill. How about your first car payment?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I guess that goes with the buying a car.
What other first could we add to this in this digital age?
First podcast.
When you had your first social media profile.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
First time you took your social media profile down.
First time or when you joined Facebook. How about that one?
That would be a milestone now. Definitely.
Yes, it totally would be.
Although they're not doing it now. Like
kids aren't doing it?
No.
Have to be Instagram?
No.
Yeah, or Snapchat or
TikTok.
Or
oh wow, TikTok I haven't even heard of.
My son does this Discord, which is like
I
don't even know what that is.
WhatsApp.
Mm-hmm.
We're using WhatsApp a lot more.
My son is on Facebook and my daughter has disavowed all social media. So
yeah, I don't see her anymore.
No,
she's not on it,
she decided it made her feel bad, and so she wasn't going to do it anymore. And I said, well, good for you. That is very wise.
Yes.
It will still be there if you change your mind in the future, but she says she feels much better.
Good.
So,
good.
Yeah. It seems very mature.
That seems very mature.
That should be something on here. But then, of course, she says, if something's going on, she says, can I go look at your computer about what somebody posted about this or that? And sometimes she, comments as me with her name next to it. But and she has me put up something for her birthday so she can see who comments on it. So she's not completely withdrawn, but mostly.
That seems like a pretty decent system.
Yes, I think so.
Keeping your sanity and still having just enough, to follow along.
Because there are some things about it that are fun. So if you can just pick and choose the fun things and not have to deal with all the rest. So I'm proud of her for doing that. And I thought that she would not last this long. So, good for her. It's been few years, I think, and she's been off. So, for a while she was on Instagram, and I don't think she's on that now either. I think she's just completely done. So, that needs to be on the timeline. Get disgusted with social media.
Right.
At a certain age, and then another age, they'll be, go back on social media.
Mm-hmm.